made up my mind to make a change in my life when I was 16 years old. We are all gods on this planet, every man and every woman. I felt like a freak for about 30 days because all my friends, they made a big hoop to do out of it, you know.
Right, I would think so.
That music is my life saver. That's why I dedicated my life to that lady. To this day, to the day I die, I will make music.
Barry White, celebrated for his deep, resonant voice and timeless hits such as Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe and You're the First, the Last, My Everything, has left an indelible mark on the music world. His remarkable achievements were honored with a posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. White's legacy endures as he continues to be revered for his soulful ballads and his passionate, heartfelt musical expressions of love. But one incident changed his life thoroughly.
Don't go changing, trying to please me.
Unlike many other artists of his age who were well-educated, White's journey to fame was far from easy. Emerging from humble beginnings, he navigated the treacherous waters of the music industry with unwavering grit and determination. His rise to prominence is a powerful testament to his relentless hard work and perseverance in an arena renowned for its fierce competition.
I'm myself at all times, you know, if I walk in a room, I speak. I try to always carry myself as a gentleman and respectful of ladies and gentlemen.
In his autobiography, Love Unlimited, Insights on Life and Love, Barry White reflected, quote, "If I've produced some music that strikes a chord in the fine-tuned land of people's emotions, so be it. In that sense, my music is great, a special gift that allows me to create a more perfect world than real life. It takes us all out of the lives we live into the fantasies of our dreams." Born on September 12, 1944 in Texas, Barry White's early years were fraught with challenges. Most of his childhood was spent in Los Angeles, where he faced significant hardships. In a 1999 autobiography, the renowned musician revealed that he grew up in a modest home with his mother and siblings. Both Barry and his brother were drawn into local gangs, often finding themselves in trouble, much to the disappointment of their mother.
That's why I dedicated my life to that lady. To this day, to the day I die, I will make music.
In an interview with Rolling Stone, White said, quote, "I'm an ex-gangbanger. I come from Southeast LA. I didn't only hear about the 1965 riot, I was in it. I understand the disappointment, the anger that people have. I had the same. My brother had the same until he died in 1983. A man shot him in his heart. He was my best friend and my life till he died. He was night and I was day." He added that his brother was addicted to the world of crime the way Barry himself grew to love music. White chose to be transparent about his past to his young fans later in life. Quote, "So I tell people the truth and a lot of them listen," he said. "They know I've been to jail, I've never hid my past and I never will. I don't want no young person to think he's stuck in that misery." Barry White's immersion in the world of music began at a young age. Although born in Galveston, Texas, he moved to Los Angeles early in his life. His mother, Sadie, a piano teacher, played a crucial role in nurturing his musical talent. At the tender age of 4, she taught him the art of harmonization. An early display of his musical prowess was evident when Sadie sang Silent Night and young Barry seamlessly added the harmony. Despite this early exposure and natural talent, White never learned to read or write music.
It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just my voice is extremely low. It's different than a lot of other guys.
Despite lacking formal musical notation skills, Barry White's passion for music thrived. He actively participated in his church, playing the organ and singing in the choir, and mastered several instruments. Impressively, at just 11 years old, he made his recording debut, showcasing his piano skills on Jesse Belvin's hit Goodnight My Love.
And bring you closer to
2 years later, his voice cracked, something that he said was the most devastating thing he ever experienced. However, that voice, a rich bass baritone, would become one of the distinguishing features of his music. Despite the gentle and benevolent image Barry White projected throughout his musical career, it was grounded in a tumultuous childhood and an adolescence marked by tragedy, crime, and gang involvement. Growing up in South Central Los Angeles, Barry and his younger brother Daryl frequently engaged in petty crimes. Daryl, being the more troublesome of the two, had already encountered juvenile detention by the age of 8.
Hang loose, and the laws are going to take care of those philosophies. Palimony now.
As the brothers entered their mid-teens in the early 1960s, their mischievous activities escalated into something more perilous. Quote, "We were a two-man gang, respected and feared," White said later via The Independent. "For years, we ran and ruled the streets of our neighborhood. Joining the Businessmen, a formidable territorial gang in South Central, they became embroiled in illicit activities such as dealing. The gang, aptly named the Businessmen, considered themselves strategic operators focusing on what they perceived as business. During his one interview, he said, quote, "So I tell young people the truth, and a lot of them listen," he said. "They know I've been to jail, I've never hid my past, and I never will. I don't want no young person to think he's stuck in that misery." The gang's operations included violent conflicts with rival gangs like the Slausons, the Gladiators, and the Vikings. These confrontations often resulted in serious injuries and even deaths, with weapons ranging from knives and blunt instruments to firearms being used.
I made up my mind to make a change in my life when I was 16 years old.
Tragically, in the same year, his brother Daryl fell victim to a rival gang, paying the ultimate price in the violent gang war. In 1983, White's brother Daryl was murdered shortly after being released from prison, where he was serving a 13-year sentence. However, his life remained the same. In his teenage years, Barry White, deeply entrenched in the gangs of Los Angeles, experienced a turning point when he spent approximately 4 months in jail at the age of 16. The reason for his incarceration was the theft of tires amounting to $30,000, likely orchestrated by the gang, leading to a 7-month prison sentence. It was during this period of confinement that White engaged in soul searching.
We are all gods on this planet, every man and every woman. We create life, we can take life, we control what goes into the sea.
However, this was his turning point. Barry, grief-stricken and deeply affected, pledged to abandon a life of crime forever. Serving his sentence in a juvenile detention center, he contemplated his future. His profound connection to music, which had been a constant in his life, took on a new dimension when his voice transformed into the deep bass baritone at the age of 14.
Very dynamic, can be very demanding, it can be very humble, it depends on how I use it.
But what made him deliberately shift towards music, which was totally different from his past life? According to him, during his time in prison, a transformative moment occurred when he listened to Elvis Presley's It's Now or Never. He vividly described the experience as an awakening akin to being struck in the face with a baseball bat. Despite his earlier commitment to avoid trouble, he found himself back in custody a few weeks after his release in 1960, charged with attempted murder. Fortunately, he was exonerated when his alleged victim emerged from a coma and accurately identified the true assailant.
I like to think I've changed to a better person, to a more aware person. I feel that everything must change.
From his early years, Barry White harbored a deep fascination for music, driven by a desire to comprehend and delve into its intricacies. As recounted in Love Unlimited, Insights on Life and Love, White's childhood was marked by a keen interest in radio tunes, where he ingeniously incorporated his favorite songs into his daily life. Biography notes that the singer closely monitored the local music scene, displaying a precocious awareness of musical trends.
Well, music, for me as a writer-composer, it always is dictated by the music. A lot of writers write lyrics first, then they find the music. The music.
Reflecting on his connection to music, White expressed, quote, "Ever since I was a little boy, whenever I heard a song on the radio I liked, I made it my song. Whether alone or with a companion, each song became a poignant memory, a touchstone linking him to the moment of its discovery." He emphasized that music played a pivotal role in his romantic encounters, serving as a soundtrack to his emotions and connections with others. As a member of his church choir and a devoted consumer of diverse musical genres, White's early exposure laid the groundwork for his future as a prominent musician. When he eventually crafted his own music, he purposefully aimed to inspire love and connection among audiences worldwide.
Love is many things. Love is knowledge, love is warmth, love is understanding, love is people.
Barry White held a fascinating memory close to his heart, recalling the remarkable transformation of his voice during his formative years, a change that both startled and fascinated him. Initially marked by a somewhat squeaky quality, White's voice suddenly deepened overnight, leaving him and his mother astonished. Quote, "It scared me and my mother when I spoke that morning," White shared. "It was completely unexpected. My chest vibrated with the resonance. My mother stared at me and I stared back. Suddenly, her serious expression broke into a radiant smile. Tears streamed down her face as she exclaimed, 'My son's a man now.'" Following a troubled youth entangled in gangs, Barry White faced a challenging road to redemption. After a period of incarceration, he recognized the urgent need for a transformative change. Reflecting on his time in jail, White expressed in his autobiography, Love Unlimited: Insights on Life and Love, the profound realization that dawned on him. Quote, "After 2 months on the inside, it finally started kicking in. I have to change my ways because if I don't, I'm going to end up in jail the rest of my life." Although fully aware of the difficulty in breaking his ingrained habits, White saw no alternative path forward. Shortly after his release, a serendipitous offer from friends to join a band as a bass singer presented itself. Until that moment, the idea of a musical career hadn't crossed his mind. White considered this invitation in 1960 as the turning point that altered the trajectory of his life. However, merely deciding to pursue music wasn't sufficient. He spent almost a decade tirelessly working, collaborating, and striving to gain recognition in the competitive realm of music. Through persistence and determination, White gradually climbed his way to the pinnacle of success.
People who were just going around in circles, I just felt that it was a better way of life. I had to make a change or go down.
In 1966, Barry White caught the attention of Bob Keane, a versatile entrepreneur who managed various labels. Keane hired him as his artist and repertoire man, and within a year, White's salary doubled as he started writing and producing singles. It was during this time that he crossed paths with arranger Gene Page, who sneakily brought him into the studio while the Supremes were recording Forever Came Today. Inspired by their music, White remarked, quote, "They showed me I could do anything imagination allows. Their use of horns, bass lines, the sweep of their strings, their harmonies, they opened the door and left it open for me to walk through." Later, when White met the woman he affectionately called Love Unlimited, they released the hit song Walkin' in the Rain with the One I Love. Barry White's breakthrough into significant success unfolded during the 70s, marking a pivotal moment in his career. Notably, he established the girl group Love Unlimited and assumed the role of a producer, cementing his influence in the music industry. A crucial turning point came when he crossed paths with businessman Larry Nunez through a friend, who provided essential financial support for White's album. The album, titled From a Girl's Point of View, We Give to You, Love Unlimited, became a landmark project in his career. In Love Unlimited: Insights on Life and Love, White expressed astonishment and gratitude at the fortuitous encounter with Nunez. He wrote, quote, "I couldn't believe it. Here I was without a dime to my name with a group I couldn't afford to record with nothing but my knowledge of music. And over there was Larry Nunez, a millionaire, offering me not just a way to make a decent living, but the opportunity to make my musical life." The 1970s proved to be a prosperous era for White. In 1972, he released one of his most popular tracks, Walkin' in the Rain with the One I Love, marking his first major hit and propelling him into the spotlight. Concurrently, he found the Love Unlimited Orchestra, achieving further success with the iconic track Love's Theme. These milestones solidified Barry White's status as a prominent figure in the music industry during this transformative decade. Initially, Barry White had no intention of singing on recordings despite the urging of Larry Nunez, the music mogul who was now financing White's endeavors. However, White eventually gave in, and upon hearing a track of himself singing, he decided to embrace his vocal talent. In 1973, he formed the Love Unlimited Orchestra, a 40-piece ensemble to accompany Love Unlimited. That same year, White released his debut solo album, I've Got So Much to Give. The album boasted hits like Love's Theme with the Love Unlimited Orchestra, alongside chart toppers Can't Get Enough of Your Love Babe and You're the First, the Last, My Everything. The tremendous success of these songs propelled Barry White to buy 2 homes in the San Fernando Valley. In 1974, he married Glodian James, the lead singer of Love Unlimited, and they welcomed 4 children together. Additionally, White had a daughter with Gertha Allen in 1962, who only discovered his identity as her father in '88. In 1978, White secured an impressive $8 million deal with CBS. However, both musical tastes and White's fortunes underwent shifts. Barry White distinguished himself by embracing risks and pushing the boundaries of his musical career. His solo album, I've Got So Much to Give, showcased his bold approach, featuring the popular track I'm Gonna Love You Just a Little Bit More, Baby. Eager for further creative control, White ventured into entrepreneurship and founded his own label, Unlimited Gold, in collaboration with CBS Columbia Records in '79.
The record business is a very lucrative business. It's the only business where a man can go to sleep tonight poor and wake up tomorrow a rich man.
Barry White crooned, I'm gonna love you just a little more, baby. Can't get enough of your love, babe, and you're the first, the last, my everything into our hearts. Dubbed the Walrus of Love, White spoke the language of romance like few others, delivering his tender sentiments in a deep, soulful voice. He attributed his seductive lyrics as tributes to his wife Glodine, and his lush arrangements cemented him as the epitome of soulful, cuddly love in the 70s. However, the 1980s proved to be a challenging period for Barry White, marked by setbacks and losses. Attempting to replicate earlier success successes with albums like The Right Night and Barry White and The Man Is Back in the late 80s, White faced tough times until the 1990s. A breakthrough came with his '94 album The Icon Is Love, earning him 2 Grammy Awards in '99 for the song Staying Power. At that time, he was also overcome by depression. White's career navigated the evolving landscape of disco, and he managed to retain a dedicated fan base.
On behalf of everybody at 20th Century Records and my lovely wife, Glodine, with all my heart, I thank all of you. Thank you.
Despite his musical achievements, Barry White faced public misunderstandings and occasional ridicule. The media at times criticized him for his steamy lyrics, categorizing his music as trashy. Unfazed, White embraced this image and even participated in self-deprecating comedy, appearing as himself on The Simpsons.
Yeah. Oh, well, babe.
In an interview with Rolling Stone, when asked about living with labels such as being seen as a S symbol, White confidently asserted, quote, "It never gets in my way, I'm none of that, I'm Barry White." He emphasized his identity and shrugged off different nicknames, declaring, quote, "Calling me different nicknames doesn't bother me one bit, I'm Barry White. Have a sip of champagne, women are not into fish eggs, they have a different nature, men love it." Barry White crafted his musical style by drawing inspiration from successful soul S symbols like Isaac Hayes and Marvin Gaye, even though he acknowledged he couldn't match their level of talent. Instead, he simplified and synthesized elements from their styles, resulting in a series of hits over the next 5 years.
I'm here, baby. I'm ready, baby. I'm waiting on you.
His distinctive sound featured intimate vocals layered over lush orchestral arrangements and Latin-influenced rhythms. This trademark style significantly influenced the disco genre, and his deep, raspy baritone voice combined with his substantial physical presence earned him the affectionate nickname the Walrus of Love. Despite not fitting the traditional mold of a S symbol, Barry White became one of the era's most iconic figures in that regard. Barry White first visited Britain in 1973, and he fondly recalled, "The English were my first international fans, and that is something I won't forget. England was incredible." This recognition highlighted the global impact of his music and solidified his status as one of the era's greatest, albeit unexpected, S symbols. One of his fans wrote, quote, "Barry White is an icon. When I hear stories like Barry's, it reminds me how cruel people can be. Entertainers give till they have nothing left, and it seems that is never enough. Thank you, Mr. White, for your awesome gift of music to us all. Your music has been a staple in my life. You were and are awesome. God bless the White family." Another person also added, quote, "Such a talented singer. It's sad how people are so selfish. He couldn't perform due to his health issue and people didn't care. As each day goes by, I care less about people because you are only good when they can use you." One more person penned, quote, "Whenever I hear Barry White sing, I feel like he is singing exclusively to me. I put a big smile on my face while I'm listening because I realize that probably at least 50 million women or more feel exactly like me. R.I.P. Barry, we still love you now and always." Despite Barry White's numerous honors and successes throughout his career, there was one unfulfilled dream that he didn't have the chance to realize. In Love Unlimited, Insights on Life and Love, White wrote about the missed opportunity to collaborate with one of his favorites, Marvin Gaye. They were in the process of finalizing a project together when the untimely death of Marvin Gaye abruptly ended the possibility of their collaboration. Quote, "His passing hit me so hard and deep," White wrote. "It broke my heart. He was looking to make an even bolder leap, to stretch, to work himself to a new level. Now he is gone forever. It is everybody's loss." The loss was very personal for White, who spoke to Gaye just days before he died. Gaye asked the musician to help him with his next album and produce it. White told him, quote, "Marvin, you're insane. You don't need a producer. That's the last thing you need." He added that he'd be happy to brainstorm with Gaye, but was convinced that no one could make music like him. "I can never produce Marvin Gaye," he said. "Marvin is the only one that can produce Marvin." Sadly, the duo never got to produce their project together. Talking about his personal life, that was also not easy. Barry White, despite being renowned as the king of romance in the music industry, faced challenges in his own love life marked by unsuccessful marriages. His romantic endeavors did not culminate in happy endings, with both of his marriages leading to divorce.
Women is still God's greatest gift to man. Whether he can acknowledge that or not, and there's many reasons why he can't.
His first wife, Mary, was a childhood friend, and together they had 4 children. To support his family, Barry White took on a variety of jobs, from selling toys and newspapers to laboring on construction sites. Despite his demanding work, he maintained his passion for music, becoming involved with groups like the Majestics and the Atlantics, where he wrote songs and showcased his singing talent. White recorded 6 singles with the Upfronts on the Lumitone label. In 1964, he played keyboard on Bob and Earl's Harlem Shuffle and Jackie Lee's The Duck, both of which reached the impressive position of 14 on the charts. However, their journey together concluded with a separation separation in 1969. Barry White's second marriage was to Gladiators James, a member of the female group Love Unlimited. Despite collaborating on the song Walkin' in the Rain with the One I Love, they eventually decided to part ways in '88. In a '95 interview with Rolling Stone, when asked about his love life, Barry White responded succinctly, "I'm relaxing, I'm enjoying my life, and I let things do what they do. I've already got one lady, music." This statement reflects his focus on his career and passion for music amid the challenges in his personal relationships. After that, Barry White faced significant health challenges in his final days, as reported by MSN. According to a docuseries titled Autopsy, Barry White, the singer, encountered difficulties in even standing on his own 2 feet. White's half-sister, Sandra, shared insights in the docuseries revealing, quote, "The last concert that I saw of Barry's, he could barely stand up. He managed to get through it, and then I understand he almost collapsed after he walked off stage." Despite these alarming signs, White was reportedly hesitant to seek help, as Sandra mentioned. "I was around Barry a lot. During that time, we would talk a lot, and I could tell he was getting tired a lot." Furthermore, Barry White grappled with weight concerns throughout a significant portion of his life. In '03, he experienced a stroke that impacted his speech, and he also coped with a deteriorating kidney and acute blood pressure issues. Quote, "My dad had surgery May 1st to place a catheter in his arm." White's daughter said back then per Billboard, "He had a stroke that affected his speech and the right side of his body, but he is in great spirits." These health challenges compelled him to withdraw from numerous live shows. Sadly, in his last days, White became the target of ridicule from audiences during concerts and live performances. The strain on his health made it increasingly difficult for him to maintain energy and animation while on stage, leading to a challenging and exhausting experience. According to information shared by Ned Shankman, White's manager in the documentary Autopsy Barry White, people did not respond compassionately to the singer's ailing health.
I used to be intimidated by your size, but you've disappeared.
Well,
You lost a lot of weight.
yeah,
How do you do that?
stopped eating.
White was struggling to stay animated while performing live as he fought ever-increasing exhaustion. According to MSN, Ned Shankman, White's manager, revealed in Autopsy Barry White that people didn't take kindly to the singer's ill health, as we just said. Quote, "He had to perform sitting down. It infuriated the crowds. They wanted Barry playing the piano and moving around," Shankman stated. This thought was echoed by White's biographer, Mark Elliott, who said, quote, "The show was in the round and he wouldn't turn, so half the audience saw only his back and they booed him. Unfortunately, as his condition worsened and he was unable to recover. He passed away in July 2003 at the age of 58. White's son felt that his father was doing the best he could, considering the circumstances. Quote, "He wasn't able to stand up, he was trying, he was struggling, but he was trying. And God bless him for that," he said. White's mobility issues were primarily caused by edema swelling due to fluid buildup in his legs and ankles. Like many other notable figures worldwide, Barry White emerged from adversity with lessons learned. Despite the haunting memories of gang life in the early 60s South Central Los Angeles and the loss of his brother, he channeled his sorrow into the creation of his distinctive mellow tunes. White's ability to turn hardship into art became a testament to his resilience and artistic prowess. Ultimately, Barry White left behind a rich but painful legacy for his fans. He had a lot more that he wanted to do, and his work remained unfinished. Sadly, his failing health simply didn't allow him to pursue his future goals and dreams. White's death left fans heartbroken, and they paid a moving tribute to him in Los Angeles. According to a period by NME, more than 100 fans and friends of the singer celebrated his life and music at a park in the city's downtown after his death, paying tribute to White and dancing to some of his best songs.